Welcome to Airsoft World. We're going to do a few videos for you to try and give you a feel for some of the new products that we've got in, which we believe may be of interest. Going to look this afternoon at the new range of Klarus flashlights. We got these in very recently. They're already creating some major waves on the other side of the Atlantic, where the American torch forums, flashlight forums are alive with them. They're very interesting. They're not, I'll say right at the outset here, terribly tactical, in that they would be fairly difficult prospects to mount on a gun, even to helmet mount. They're probably not ideal for that. As an everyday carry light, as a general use light, finding stuff in your kit bag, they are, I have to say, and I speak as someone who has something of a passion for these things, possibly the most complete flashlights I've seen. Everything in the range is powered by CREE LEDs, so straight off you know that the light they're going to produce is going to be very high quality. But Klarus have taken some existing ideas and refined them to actually produce something which is genuinely a bit different. You're going to have to excuse the noise of the phone in the background because we are filming this in the shop and we are a real business and people do occasionally phone us, like all the time. Right, I've got three examples here, and product placement straight off, or product recommendations straight off. Two of the ones I'm going to show you are actually mine because I like them so much I bought them. We'll start with the smallest, which is the Klarus MI10. That, believe it or not, is capable of producing 80 lumens of output and is adjustable for 3 different output levels. It's powered by a single AAA battery. Runtimes at the lowest setting are considerable. Yes, you realise I am fluffing slightly here because I can't remember exactly what it is, but I believe it's in the region of about 40 to 60 hours at the lowest setting. At its highest setting that goes down to something like 70 minutes, which is not a lot, but considering that it is throwing out enough light to illuminate a path for say 40 metres on a dark night, or even a partially dark night, that's incredibly impressive. It's not the most user-friendly thing in the world. It is small, it doesn't fit the hand well, hence I've got about 1.5 feet of paracord on the back of it so I don't lose it. But this is a torch that goes with me everywhere. I use this for doing gun work, I use this for checking in the armoury, I use this for finding the dog when she escapes in the middle of the night and I've got her out for a walk. It's a fabulous little bit of kit. It's very simple, very straightforward. Operation unfortunately tends to be a bit too-handed because you have to twist the head. So it's a simple twist the head, the torch comes on. Right, now try not to shine this directly into the camera lens because it's not going to be good for it, but if I turn that off and back on, you should note that gets brighter, and again considerably brighter. It's now chucking out 80 lumens. Crazy. Physically I don't think they could make this thing any smaller because it is barely bigger than the battery that powers it. Like all the Klarus torches, it's waterproof to IPX8, which means it will withstand immersion in liquid. I wouldn't go diving in the Marianas Trench with it, but certainly rain, sleet, snow, dumping it in a puddle, dropping it in a stream, it's not going to phase it. It's going to carry on. Being LED, of course, the chances are that it will live longer than you will. You'll never replace the actual head on this thing because it's not going to burn out. That's the MI10. A more practical torch is the ST10, and I'm just going to show you the ones that are powered by AA batteries. They replicate the range, or duplicate the range more accurately, in the NT series, which uses CR123A lithium cells. They tend to be characterised by much higher outputs, though the burn times are not significantly better, so they're clearly using that power to put it out in light rather than to actually increase the burn time. ST10, this sits on my belt, 2 torches, I know it's excessive. This one is powered by a single AA, which must be about the most available battery in the world. Simple operation. It has a tail cap switch on the end there, and it is what I've seen called forward clicky. In other words, you press it forward, the torch comes on. It has 2 control buttons. There's one on the side of the head, and that partly explains the slightly odd shape of the head compared to other torches. This regulates the power output, so a simple click will make it brighter, and then brighter still. Actually I had it on the full setting, so I've made a fool of myself and gone the wrong way around. Lowest, medium, highest. Its highest it's putting out 140 lumens. Burn time on this is about 46 hours if I remember on the lowest setting, which is this one. If you press and hold that, it will start going into a random stroke pattern. Press that and it will revert to the last setting. You turn it off, it knows what the last setting was. So if you, as I tend to, run it at the lowest setting, it will come back on at the lowest setting. If you had it on the highest setting because you use it for the highest setting in your work, whatever you're doing with it, again, that's what it will come on. Now it gets really cute. You twist the head slightly to loosen it. That was less than a quarter turn, and turn it on. You probably just see that's come on a very low output. Now the burn time on this is days, if I remember correctly. This setting it's what they call super low power. It's a very low output, navigation in very dark situations where you don't want a lot of light. Press the button again, and the keen-eyed amongst you will realise very quickly what this is doing. It's got an automatic SOS beacon facility, and the torch will now flash SOS until it runs out of power. Third setting on this one is a bit off-putting. It's also a beacon, it's a randomised strobe, and I know it's just flashed 3 times and you now think it's died. It hasn't. It's going to sit here for about 10 seconds. It will do something again. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to get bored waiting for it. Fortunately it did something. There you go. And again, if you twist that back to its tight setting, you'll notice that it's now back at its lowest output setting, which was the last setting I used. High, and then back to low. Fabulous. The great thing about these is once you've turned it on, if you find that you have insufficient light for what you're doing, you just tap the push switch on the head, and you've got more light. And believe me, those increments make an enormous difference. It goes from being able to illuminate what's at your feet to being able to see detail quite clearly at 40+ meters. So it's a very diffuse light. It's not tightly focused. Now if I was being really picky, I would like to say a focusing head on them, but to be honest, everything else is so good that I am splitting hairs. Finish is a hard anodized aluminium. It's probably not quite mil spec. I have sent my ST10 skating across the road, and it has picked a couple of chips up. That's fine, I can live with that. But manufacture is all aircraft grade aluminium, and it's all machined. You can even see it in the screw threads at the tail cap and the head cap. Square cut machine threads, very nice indeed. Detailing is excellent, finish is brilliant, really, really good. ST20 is simply the ST10, uses 2 cells, and that translates into much higher output. The maximum output on the ST20 is actually 240 lumens, which is painful if you look at it. I've actually got the box lying here for the 20 because I just got that one out. As I said, the other 2 live about my person. They claim a maximum runtime on this 200 hours. Now you can safely assume that that will be at the super low output, but that's mobile phone stuff. I mean, 200 hours, somebody do the maths for me, that's about 9 days. How long do you need your torch to run? Let's be realistic about this. Valuable addition, lots of information, good instructions, and if you don't have someone like me explaining to you how the hidden features work, you will not find them accidentally, they're just not obvious. But across the board, very, very difficult to fault these. You're looking for a good tactical, in inverted commas, torch, a good everyday carry torch, something that's going to keep going for a good long time. I can only say these things absolutely are the business.